What lies hidden thousands of meters below sea level in regions darker and less explored than deep space? Why have more human beings stepped foot on the surface of the moon than have ever descended into the deepest abyssal trenches of our own planet? What monstrous alien-like life forms are thriving inside pitch-black oceanic vents under crushing hydrostatic pressures that would instantly flatten a steel submarine? And could the mysterious structures, massive methane reserves, and microbial ecosystems sleeping under the ocean floor hold the ultimate secret to how life began on Earth and where it might exist in the cosmos? We often look up at the night sky and marvel at the vastness of the universe. Yet, right beneath our feet, covered by miles of turbulent water, lies a world we barely comprehend. More than 80% of the world's ocean floor remains entirely unmapped and unseen by human eyes. At the bottom of the ocean lies the abyssal zone, extending from 3,000 to 6,000 meters below the surface, followed by the Hadal zone, the razor-thin plunging oceanic trenches that drop down to nearly 11,000 meters. Down here, sunlight vanishes completely within the first 200 meters. Below that line lies perpetual, absolute darkness. The pressure at these depths is staggering. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the water exerts over 1,000 atmospheres of pressure, equivalent to having an entire commercial airliner resting on your big toe. For over a century, conventional biological science assumed that no complex life could survive such extreme conditions. We believed the ocean floor was a barren, lifeless desert covered in cold, black mud. But when modern deep-sea submersibles finally pierced the pitch-black abyss, what they discovered shattered every established rule of biology. In 1977, near the Galapagos Rift, scientists made one of the most astonishing scientific discoveries in human history. Operating deep-sea research submersibles, they discovered hydrothermal vents. Massive, chimney-like rock formations spewing superheated, mineral-rich water, reaching temperatures of up to 400 degrees Celsius into the freezing ocean floor. Because the ambient water is under such immense pressure, this superheated water cannot boil. But the true shock was what lived around these scalding chimneys. Thriving around these toxic vents were complex ecosystems flourishing in total darkness. 6-foot-tall giant tube worms without mouths or guts, ghostly white crabs, blind shrimp, and glowing deep-sea organisms. On the surface of the Earth, all life depends on photosynthesis, the sun converting light into plant energy. But deep below the ocean floor, life operates on a completely different metabolic blueprint called chemosynthesis. Specialized bacteria absorb toxic hydrogen sulfide pouring out of the Earth's core and convert it into pure biological energy. This single discovery proved that life does not need sunlight to flourish. It completely redefined our search for alien life on icy moons like Jupiter's Europa and Saturn's Enceladus, where deep subsurface oceans likely harbor identical hydrothermal vents. The discovery of hydrothermal vents opened the door to an even greater revelation. The ocean floor is not the bottom of the biological world. Scientists now know that thousands of meters beneath the seafloor itself exists a hidden, deep subterranean biome. Drilling thousands of meters into the oceanic crust, marine geologists uncovered miles of ancient sediment beds saturated with methane, hydrated ice. A bizarre structure where water molecules form a cage around trapped gas under extreme pressure. Even deeper within the rocky sub-seafloor crust, researchers discovered living microbial colonies trapped inside solid basalt rocks millions of years old. These microorganisms survive on chemical reactions between seawater and rock, reproducing at ultra-slow speeds that blur the line between geological time and biological life. Additionally, vast undersea mountain ranges known as seamounts act as massive biological highways. Towering thousands of meters above the flat abyssal plains, these extinct volcanoes create localized underwater currents that feed ancient, slow-growing coral forests that have aged for over 4,000 years without ever feeling a ray of sunlight. To survive inside this atmospheric pressure cooker, deep-sea organisms evolved anatomical adaptations that look straight out of science fiction. Over 70% of all deep-sea species produce their own cold, chemical light, a phenomenon known as bioluminescence. They use glowing lures, flash patterns, and chemical clouds to confuse predators, signal mates, and hunt prey in total pitch blackness. Even stranger is the biological rule known as deep-sea gigantism. In the immense depths of the abyssal plains, creatures grow to absurd, giant dimensions compared to their surface relatives. Here, giant amphipods grow to the size of a human forearm. Colossal squids stretch over 30 feet in length with eyes as large as dinner plates, and giant isopods, relatives of the common garden pillbug, grow to the size of a domestic cat. Their flexible cell membranes and soft, fluid-filled skeletons allow them to glide effortlessly under forces that would crush titanium structures. Every time human technology allows us to descend a few hundred meters deeper, we find that our planetary boundaries are far larger, stranger, and more resilient than we ever imagined. The deep ocean floor is not an empty void at the bottom of the world. It is a living, breathing vault that guards the origin story of our planet and perhaps the blueprint for life across the galaxy. The next time you look at the blue expanse of the sea, remember, the true wonders of Earth aren't on its surface, but waiting in the dark miles beneath the waves.
If this blew your mind, like, share, and subscribe to the Invisible World Docs. And share this video with a friend who loves deep-sea mysteries.